We have
Okay, Gimel Aleph.
If the Bezdin and all of Israel saw the moon, or if the witnesses were interrogated, but they did not manage to say it is sanctified before it grew dark, it is full. If only Bezdin saw it, and two of them should stand and testify before the others, and they should say, it's sanctified, it is sanctified. If three saw it and they constitute a Bezdin, then two should stand up and say, some of their colleagues beside the single one, and testify before them and say, it is sanctified, it is sanctified. For an individual is not trusted alone. So all shofars are valid except for that of a cow, because it is called a keren. Rabbi Yosef says, are not all shofars called kerens? As it said, when they make a long blast with the ram's keren. The shofar at Rosh Hashana should be from a wild goat, straight and with a gold-covered mouthpiece, and with two trumpets at the sides. The shofar blows long, and the trumpets blow short. For the commandment of the day is with the shofar.
Okay. Now Mishna Dalet tells us about the Tanis. So the Tanios b'shel zacharim kefufin. So when we have a Tanis, then they also blow the shofar. But what they do is they use a male ram, a ram's horn which is curved, which is much like the one that we actually use on Rosh Hashana. But according to the Tana of these Mishnayos, the one on Rosh Hashana is a straight shofar. Okay. So if the symbolism over here is that you're bent over. For the that on Tanis you should be bent over in teshuva and not like standing erect boldly. Upihen mitzupa kesev, and the mouthpiece should be made of silver. And there are two silver trumpets blown in the middle. So the guy with the shofar stands on the side, and the chatzotros are standing in the middle. Shofar mekatzer v'chatzotros marichos. So in this occasion, the trumpets are the ones that blow longer. Why? Because that's what it says in the Torah. Is that that you must blow in the chatzotros when you're in a time of tzara. Okay, and that's the purpose of the chatzotros. That's the main thing of the chatzotros is for the fast days. Aside from, the chatzotros are blown for various occasions. They're blown for fast days when there's an enemy attacking, or when there's or also on the Moadim. And the Moadim, they also blow the chatzotros.
Yeah.
Okay. Shave hayovel Rosh Hashana letzchia v'labrachos. So now switching to the Yovel. So after 49 years of the cycle, the 50th year now is a Yovel, and at the end of the Yovel, all of the property reverts to its original owners. So outside of walled cities, that is, of course, walled cities don't revert to the owners. But all the rest of the land in Eretz Yisrael reverts to the original owners, or their heirs. Okay, Shabbat HaYovel Rosh Hashana. But so the Yovel is similar to Rosh Hashana, Letzikia v'Labrachos. So you blow on the shofar on both of them from it says this Tana on a Yael Pashut, on a straight shofar. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rosh Hashana tokin b'shel zacharim u'v'yovel b'shel ye'elim. So this is now finally our halacha comes out like Rabbi Yehuda. That on Rosh Hashana he says we blow on a curved shofar, and on the Yovel that's when we blow on the straight one. And
we don't do that. We don't do that today, though. Do we?
So we don't have a Yovel.
That's true.
We've lost track of the Yovel, so we don't keep a Yovel now. We've had long enough of having Eretz Yisrael B'Yadeinu, and that it's been more than 50 years, so we should have had at least one Yovel, but we haven't. Right. Because I think also Yovel is dependent on Rav Yisrael al Adnatan. You have to have the majority of Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael, which frankly we're getting awful close to, but it's not on my shoulders to decide when we've got to reinstitute Yovel. Okay, and again the symbolism that we're talking about, because that's really the point, is the curvature, that as you say, Right. So on Rosh Hashanah there's also a certain amount of teshuvah when you sort of pleading for mercy from Hashem. And even though on Rosh Hashanah we don't say anything relating to teshuvah, nonetheless in our hearts, it's Yom Hadin. So that's the curvature of the shofar according to Rabbi Yehuda, who is the halacha. Whereas for the Yovel is a straight thing. It's not an Indian of teshuvah. It's just a proclamation of Hashem's ownership of the land, I guess. And also, they also said in the Yerushalmi that they made something common for the common and uncommon for the uncommon. So the ram, which is very common, is blown for Rosh Hashanah, which is common. Whereas the mountain goat or whatever antelope it is that has the straight shofar is not as easily found, and therefore it should be blown only on the Yovel, which is not so often. Okay. Now onto the halachic qualifications of the shofar itself. Shofar shenistak, if you had a cracked shofar, v'dibako, and he stuck it together, pasul. Right, the shofar has to be completely intact. It cannot have been glued together, because the glue itself is not part of the shofar. It's treated as if it's not there. And if the glue wasn't there and the shofar would fall apart, that's it. It's a pasul shofar. You can't blow on it. Okay. Dibek shivrei shofaros. If he had various different pieces of a shofar and he stuck them together. Now, why is this different from the previous case? The previous case was talking about if it was cracked down the length and you stuck it together. So here we've got a shofar that was broken across the width. So now he stuck it together, and you might have thought that, okay, so if you take a look at a small piece, that small piece is kind of a bit like a shofar. Maybe you would have thought that that's okay. It's not. If you couldn't blow the one piece, the little piece by itself, then it's not a shofar. Nikav usitamo. So if it got a hole in it and he blocked up the hole, so now it depends. If the hole unfilled would have prevented you from blowing it, it's pasul. So if it's just a little hole that didn't make any difference to the sound and you just blocked it up because it looks nicer, that's okay, that's acceptable. But if it's a hole that would have affected the sound of the shofar and you had to block it up, again, that's pasul, because the shofar has to be independent, and the glue is inadmissible as part of a shofar. Okay, that's it for tonight. Okay, Beitza. Hey.
The burning coal as the feet of its owner, but a flame can be taken everywhere. Using a coal belonging to the temple incurs a milah sacrifice, but concerning a flame, we may not use it, yet we do not incur a milah sacrifice. One who takes a coal out of a private domain to a public domain incurs a sin offering, but if one carries out a flame, he is exempt. The water in a pit belonging to a private individual is as the feet of that individual. One belonging to the people of the town is as the feet of the people of that town. But the water in those set aside for the Babylonian pilgrimage is as the feet of the one who draws the water. If one produce was in another town and the people of that town made an error in order to bring some of the produce to him, they may not bring the produce to him. But if he made an error, his produce is as himself. If one invited guests, they may not take portions with them unless he had given them possession of their portions before Yom Tov. We may neither water nor slaughter range animals, but we may water and slaughter domesticated animals, and these are considered domesticated. Those that pass the night in the town, range animals, and those that pass the night on the pasture. Or range animals
are the ones that pass the night in the pasture.
Right. And Sukkah is what are we doing after Beitza?
Rosh Hashanah.
Okay, so we're not doing a new one. Okay. All right. We have Sukkah. We have over here. Olive Dalet.
Olive Gimel.
No, Olive Gimel. If one spread over the sheet because of the sun, or under it because of the leaves dropping, or spread a sheet over the four posts of a bed, it is invalid. One may, however, spread it over the crossbar of the two-post bed. If someone, if someone trained it over a vine or a gourd or ivy and covered it, invalid. If there was more valid covering than these, or if he severed them, it is valid. This is the rule. Whatever is susceptible to ritual defilement and does not grow out of the soil may not be used as a covering for the sukkah. And whatever is not susceptible to ritual defilement and does grow out of the soil may be served as a covering. Bundles of straw, bundles of wood, and bundles of brushwood must be not used for the sukkah covering, but all that were untied are valid and all are fit as walls.
Okay, that's done. Erevin, Daled Vav.
If there were two, some of the amas of one overlapping the amas of the other, they may bring their food and eat in the middle, provided that one does not carry from his to his friends. If there were three and the middle one's area was overlapped by the other two, he's permitted with them, and they are permitted with him, but the outer two are forbidden with each other. Says Reb Shimon, to what is this comparable? To 3 courtyards which were open one into the other and which open into the public domain. If the two made an error with the middle one, it is permitted to them, and if they're permitted to it, but the other two outer ones are forbidden one to another. One who was traveling in darkness approached, and he knew of a tree or a fence, and said, my Sabbath dwelling place is beneath it. He has said nothing. If, however, he said, my Sabbath dwelling place is at its trunk, he may walk from his present location to the trunk 2,000 amma. But from the trunk to his house in 2,000 amma, and from trunk to his house 2,000 cubits, he may not go 4,000 ammas after dark.
He may. It sounds that he
may. I'm sorry.
4,000 ammas, yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. He may go 2,000, 4,000.
Yeah.
If he does not know, or if he's not convenient with the conversing with the Lord, and he said, my Sabbath dwelling place is at my location, his location requires 2,000 ammas for him in every direction. For in a circle, these are the words of Reb Kinan ben Antigoneos, but the Chachamim say in a square, like a square board, so that he may gain the corners. This is what they may have said. The poor man may make an error.
We're done.
I finished it? All right.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Zain, hey.
The person who thins the vines, just as he thins his, he may thin thin that of the poor. So says Reb Yehuda, but Reb Meir says his own he may, but Reb Meir says his own he may, but that of the poor he may not. A vineyard in its 4th year. Beit Shammai says he has no chumash and he has no removal. And Beit Hillel says he has, but Beit Shimon says he has peret and he has oliot, and the poor redeem for themselves. And Beit Hillel says all of it is for the vat. A vineyard that is all oliot. Reb Eliezer says to the owner. Reb Akiva says to the poor. Reb Eliezer says, when you harvest the grapes, you shall not glean it. If there is no harvest, from where are they? Are the oliot? Rabbi Akiva said to him, and you shall not glean your vineyard, even if it is all oliot. If so, why is it said, when you harvest grapes, you must not glean it? The poor do not have oliot before the harvest. Okay. And if a person that's it? Really? Okay. All right.
Okay, Caleb. Okay.
Yes, I have right here. We have Gimel Hay. If one coats a sound earthenware vessel, utensil, Reb Meir and Reb Shimon rule the coating tame. But the Chachamim say if one coats a ruined utensil, then the coating is sahur. But if one coats a fractured utensil, the coating is tame, and the same applies to the reinforcement of a gourd shell. Wow, gourd shell. The Yablis used to coat pitot, right? Pichot. Yeah, okay. Pichot. But that which touches it is tame. The stopper of a barrel is not regarded as connected, and that which touches the coating of an oven is tame. A boiler that one coated with mortar or potter's clay, that which touches the mortar is tame, And he used to rule concerning the utensils of pitch. No, I skipped the page. Sure. Skip the page. A boiler that one coated with mortar or potters tele, and that which touches the mortar is tame, while that which touches the potter's clay is tahor. The kettle that developed a hole and one repaired it with pitch. Rabbi Yossi rules the tahor because it cannot hold hot liquids as it does cold liquids, and that is how he used to rule concerning utensils of pitch. Copper utensils coated with pitch are tahor, but it is meant for wine, they are tame. A barrel that developed
done. Okay, and
you can still sleep. You can tell I'm sleeping a little bit. Yeah, I'm still.
Okay, Babasra, Gimel base.
These are three lands in Eretz Yisrael in regard to Chazaka, Yehuda, Transjordan, and the Galilee. If he was in Yehuda and another took possession in the Galilee, or if he was in the Galilee and another took possession in Yehuda, it is not Chazaka until he is with him in the same province. Rabbi Yehuda said, if there are 3 years only, so that there, in the case one is in Spain, another takes possession of the field for 1 year, and they have 1 year to travel and notify him, and he can return the following year. Any possession not accompanied by a claim is not a chazaka. How so? If he said to him, what are you doing in my property? And he replied, because no one ever said anything to me. It is not a chazaka. But if he replied, you sold it to me, or you gave it to me as a gift, or your father sold it to me, or your father gave me as a gift, it is a chazaka. And one who comes to a property by virtue of inheritance does not require a claim. Craftsmen, partners, sharecroppers, and administrators have no chazaka. A man has no chazaka in the property of his wife, nor does a woman have a chazaka in the property of her husband, nor a father in the property of his son, nor a son in the property of his father. In regard to what is this stated, in regard to one who holds possession, but in the case of one who gives a gift, brothers who divide, and one who takes possession of the property of a convert, if he closed off, fenced off, or breached somewhat, it is a chazaka. If 2 witnesses testified on his behalf that he ate his produce 3 years, and he was found to be a zomamin, they pay him everything. If 2 testify concerning the first year, 2 concerning the second year, and 2 concerning the third year, they divide it in 3 among them. If they were 3 brothers and one joined with them, they are 3 testimonies, but they're not 1 testimony in regard to Hashana.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
Sorry, I'm.
No worries. Glad you had a good rest.
I feel like I'm going to a 9 o'clock minion or something. I don't know.
Okay. Have a good day.
Have a great day. I will see you, Mr. Shem, tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you.